What's up, everybody? My name is Parasite, and welcome back to Rebuilding Everton. Today we have the season review and the look into the future, what we'll be doing in the future in this save. But let's start with the season review. The new arrivals, Milan Vidovic, 16 million, an absolute bargain for a guy that got 24 goals in 23 starts. What a season from Milan Vidovic. He started as the backup to Kai Watkins-Jones, but he turned into the star striker for Everton, the guy that helped us win the Premier League. Sepalak, a guy we bought for nothing, 13K, scored 27 goals in the championship. He's going to be a star one day. Jorgen Kaltoft, another great signing, 27 million, but 23 goals and 28 appearances from the left wing. That's amazing. That's really good. Those are really good numbers. He's been huge to the season as well. Everton bought for 25 million, not the biggest return, 6.88 average rating. 4 goals, 3 assists is okay in 14 starts. A lot of sub appearances though where he didn't really do much. But he's fine. He's still a young player. I think he still has plenty of room to grow. Jamie Marshall, a lot of money, a lot of money, 75 million, but he's English. He's good. He's got potential. 6.87 is fine for a center back. I'm happy with that. Halison Bruno, a guy we agreed to sign a little bit earlier than when he came in. He ended up making 7 starts for us, 3 sub appearances, got 1 goal, 6.81 average rating. That's fine. I think he's a man for the future. I think he's got a lot of potential. He could be very good for us one day. Thomas Duffy, 65 million, another huge outlay, and a pretty huge disappointment. I expected more from him right now. I knew he's a player for the future. He's a wonder kid. He's got a lot of potential. He's still only 19 years old, but I expected a little bit more. He was just so inconsistent this season. He was either very good or very, very bad. And the lows were pretty dang low, and Elio Arias kind of took his spot because Arias is just a little bit more consistent. But Duffy's still one for the future. I think he can still turn good for this team. Myrov, 35 million. Again, not the greatest return for us. He played well at Benfica. Then we returned him on loan back to us. And he never put in quite those same performances. I think he has a buttload of potential, though. I think he's got the potential to be one of the best midfielders in the world. He looks so good. 18 passing, 18 vision, 18 work rate. Those numbers by themselves are amazing. And he's balanced everywhere else as well. I think he could be a star one day. He obviously needs a little bit of time to get used to the Premier League, but I'm not too worried about it. And a couple of young signings we made. Lyro and Cesar Marquez. I think 2 frees we got. So, in terms of transfers out, 58K for youngster Jack King, 50 million for Carlos Miniconi, who played very well for Burnley. He's a good player, but he's 30 years old. To get $50 million for a 30-year-old is pretty good business. He might have got 10 goals, 17 assists in 26 starts, which is fantastic. But we needed to get a little bit younger. We had a lot of age on the wings. I thought it was the right choice. I still think it's the right choice. He might have had a good season with us, but we brought in Kaltoft, who got 28 goals this season, so can't really wipe your nose at that. Quintero, 25K, 13 appearances, 6.97 average rating. He was fine for young boys. He made me mad, so he got kicked out the door. You don't mess with me like that and expect to get away with it. Lesniak, we sold him for more than 215K. I don't know why it says 215K. Did he get sold again? He got loaned out for 215K. We sold him for 20 million. He got loaned out to Real Betis. Played 17 appearances for Burnley, a 6.9 average rating. He was fine for Burnley. But again, I think that's great business to get 20 million for a 32-year-old midfielder. I think he was 31 at the time. That's still great business. Lee James, against the left on a free. Dussel, who got upset because he wasn't getting enough first-team football, got sold to Olympiacos. He was awful for them. He doesn't look good at all. He has 11 pace, 11 acceleration, I'm pretty sure. He's just not a good fullback. So I was fine to let him go. And in terms of the loans out, Darren Wright played a lot of football, played pretty well. Just a youngster we've got. Sepalak, obviously the star young wonder kid of this save right now. 27 goals in the championship is amazing. I think we paid a little bit more than that 13K. We paid 80K for him, so that's basically nothing. McFarland, another youngster that doesn't really have a spot in this team. Rob Turner, youngster, a goalkeeper who's got some potential to be a backup one day. Diop played terribly at Burnley. We obviously got $4.6 million just for the loan, so that's great business right there. $4.6 million for a player that's only going to bring the team down. I'm happy with that. But yeah, we need to sell him. Like, we need to sell him. He's not good enough for this team. I think he's only like he's 3.5-star player still, but he looks good. He looks so good, but he doesn't perform on the pitch. So he needs to go. We've got plenty of midfielders. In terms of the season results, we expected to avoid a relegation battle, and we won the league. Like, what was our... Let me go back. What was our season prediction for positions? League table, season preview. Predicted to finish 13th, and we won the league. That is fantastic. Go back into the season review. 74 points. I guess, we'll look at all the seasons prior, see if that had won the league in any other year, because that's not a whole lot of points to win the league with. We got pretty lucky that we had 10 losses and 5 draws and still won the league. The rest of the league just did not perform very well this season. Like, we got pretty lucky that the rest of the teams didn't play well. Arsenal only 62 points. Liverpool and Southampton only 71 points. Man City only 68. It's just not very good from the big teams this season. So we were the worst. We were the best of the worst. So I'll take it. I don't care. It's a Premier League win no matter what. I don't care how many points it takes you, but as long as you win that Premier League, as long as you're at top by the end of the season, you are the champion. You get a trophy. Caltoft was our top goal scorer with 21 goals. The board are absolutely delighted. The FA Cup, a little bit disappointing. We got to the quarterfinals at least. We were expected to reach the 5th round. To make the quarterfinals, I think it's good. We lost to Chelsea, but it was not a good performance against Chelsea. But I think I wasn't too worried about the FA Cup. This is a Premier League or bust season. Carabao Cup, knocked out in the 2nd round against Bolton. We just suck against lower league sides. I don't understand it. Bolton in League 1 beat us 2-1, and we won the Premier League the same season. This team makes no sense. Our biggest win, 5-0 over Swansea. That was towards the end of the season, yeah. That was the second to last game of the season. We won 5-0. And then a match to remember, a 4-1 win over Leeds. I would go with the win over... Did we beat Southampton? I can't remember. Go back. Did we ever beat Southampton? We lost to them in the first time. Did we beat them the second time around? No, we lost them again. So we really didn't have that many big wins against big teams, I guess. Liverpool we lost, and we beat Liverpool. That's probably the biggest result of the league of the season. It's only a 1-0 win, but that win at the very beginning of the season over Liverpool was absolutely huge. They were our biggest rival in the end, them and Southampton. We couldn't beat Southampton, but we could beat Liverpool. Goal of the season is Caltoft. Dribbles the ball from his own half for a lob to the keeper. Let's look at this goal. It's in a loss. Scored in the 2nd minute against Chelsea in the FA Cup. So he's starting as a striker this game. And apparently he scores from his own half. He gets the ball right about half line. Just dribbles down, and I guess he eventually chips the keeper. That's a good chip. That's actually a very good chip. That is not an obvious chip to make. Usually the chips are like the keeper's running out and you just chip it right over him and it's like easy. That is a perfectly placed chip. That might be worth goal of the season. Not only did he dribble from his own half, but he chipped the keeper from a very tight angle. Finances, we went up in reputation from 3.5-star to 4-star reputation. Sponsorship money went down by $10 million, but broadcast revenue went up huge, obviously since we're in the Premier League again. Corporate hospitality, a little bit more. Competition prize money, $57 million. Obviously, we won the Premier League, so that's where all that came from. Match day commercial, $3 million. Sold 69,000 shirts. Caltoft, Vidovic, Watkin Jones, Zigrovic, and Mayorov actually gets a shirt sold. One of the shirts that sold well. I'm not surprised about these 4, but Mayorov's a little bit surprising. I guess he is like a world-class wonder kid, so... How he lined up, Vidovic up top, Caltoft on the left, Douglas on the right. Everton actually gets in here next to Zigrovic. This second midfielder position, we never figured it out. We tried to bring in so many different players, and we just never figured out the second midfielder. It was never a great position for us. Celso Malheiros with a good season. 6.91 for a ball-winning midfielder is a pretty good season. Thomas Duffy gets it on the left. I think Arias is better. Marshall and Sousa in the middle. Veridiano on the right. He was so bad at the end of the season. But we didn't solve that position either. Like, Veridiano was fine last year, but in the Premier League, this position is not solved. This position is not solved. This position is not solved. And I'm not sold on Douglas. He had some very low lows this season. In terms of the accolades, I won Manager of the Month 3 times, and I won Manager of the Year. Vidovic is the player of the season. I fully agree with that. Young player, also Vidovic. Signing, also Vidovic. Goal, Kaltoff, we saw that. Top goal scorer, Milan Vidovic. Most assists, Zigrovic, again. He's so good. Player of the match is Vidovic. Highest average rating, Vidovic. Most passes completed per 90, Celso. I think he had this last season, too. Celso Malheiros completes a lot of passes for a guy with low passing. Most goals by a player in a league match, a hat-trick by Kaltoff. Most player of the match awards, 9 from Vidovic. And worst discipline, 15 yellow cards and 1 red card for Celso Malheiros. It's kind of what you expect from a ball-winning midfielder, but I'm okay with it. Sousa won championship. Wait, that must have been last year. Championship player of the year. Young player of the year. I don't know why it's showing last year's competition awards. I won Manager of the Year. Other than that, I don't think we won any awards. Your hard work and effort paid off on the pitch, and such a feat didn't go unrewarded at our season-end awards ceremony. Talk about defying the odds. Everton didn't let a bad start stop them from reaching this for the sky in a fantastic and memorable season. Absolute fantastic season. Club vision is to finish mid-table. I think we're going to do that just fine. They want us to play defensively solid, counter-attacking football. No. No and no. I'll play entertaining football. I'll work within the wage budget, but I'm not playing defensive football. I want us still to play counter-attacking. I don't want to play counter-attacking. They say we must play counter. Okay. I'll play counter-attacking football if you say so. End-of-season team meetings. It said the board says mid-table, so I think I'm going to say mid-table. It's been a long season. I hope you have a good break. You need to come home back fully refreshed because I'm aiming for a mid-table finish next time around. They're all happy with that. Exactly the resort I was at. It was exactly the sort of reaction I was after. I'll also be aiming to reach the Champions League competition proper next season. That's achievable. I'll do that later. Do promises later. Thanks, Evan. I'll see you for the preseason. Training camp. I get to pick the destination. Definitely going to the US of A. Absolutely. I have been open to the Chelsea. I saved this for now, but I think we're going to Chelsea. They still haven't sacked their manager yet. I've declared interest in the job. See down here, I want the Chelsea post. I've declared interest. They have talked to me about it. Oh, I didn't see this. Fewest points by a champion. So this is the fewest points a Premier League champion has ever had in this save. In the 20 years this has been going on, this is the fewest points ever for a Champions League Premier League win. For a Premier League win. Wow. Best 11. We've got 2 players in the subs, Alexander Douglas and Luan Ferreira. Everyone else's players that were here before we got here. Some, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who is retired. Alex Iwobi, Ben Godfrey, Jordan Pickford, Richarlison, Mason Holgate. So some players from the original Everton squad. I don't think there's anything else I need to talk about. There's all the awards. Gibson won English Footballer of the Year, Players Player of the Year. He was the top goal scorer, 35 goals and 38 appearances. That's amazing. Young Player of the Year, he won it. I won Manager of the Year. Team of the Year, Messalongas, Sousa, Zigrovic, and Kai for some reason, and Kaltoft. Somehow Kai got into the Team of the Year. He did have a pretty decent in the stats. 10 goals, 11 assists. I didn't realize he had so many assists this year, but yeah, he was assisting like crazy. He just wasn't scoring very much. So I think he's best in a front two. If we were going on with this save, I might have switched to a front two somewhere to get Vidovic and Kai on the pitch at the same time. Because I think they're both very good players, and I think they both need... I think Kai especially needs a strike partner to work well. I think Vidovic is fine as a solo striker, but I think Kai needs a partner. His high teamwork means he needs a partner, I think. So, but I think I'm going to be going to Chelsea. They've not sacked their manager yet. I'm hoping they do, and I can go there naturally. If not, this isn't a journeyman save. This isn't some, I'm going to be here for the long-term save. Like it's a challenge save, really. The challenge was to take one of the basically top 8 teams of the Premier League. It wasn't just the Premier League. I was going to take the top team from any division that had been relegated, get them promoted back to the top league, and then win the top league with them. That was the challenge. I've succeeded it in 2 seasons. I never thought it was happen, but it's happened. In 2 seasons, I've done it with Everton. Now I think I want to do it with Chelsea. Chelsea are not even questionably a bigger team than Everton are. So to have Chelsea in the championship, like when's the last time Chelsea was in the championship? Like, I don't think we will even find out. They won it in 1989. So I guess they're more recently than I thought. 89 is not that long. Well, it's pretty long ago when we were in 2042. But current day, it's not that long ago. 31 years. So 31 years ago, they were in the championship and won. I'm assuming that's the last time they were in the championship. I would hope so, but Chelsea obviously have been a big club for a long time. In this save, they've struggled a little bit. Finished 11th a couple times. Finished 6th last year. They've been, up there at the top 6 every single year before that. Never winning the league, but coming second 3 times. But now they're in the championship, and I think I'm the man to get them back to the Premier League and back to winning a Premier League. They've still got an FA Cup final and a Europa League final. So I won't go through all the results from all the leagues until those are done playing. 24th is the day of the FA Cup. 29th is the day of the Europa League. Hopefully they could win one of those. They're probably waiting to sack their manager until after those cups. I still think they'll sack him because he got them relegated. Like, you can't get a Chelsea relegated and actually stay in your job. That's just not kosher. So I think he'll get sacked, but it'll be after these 2 finals. Hopefully I can take over. Let's look at the stats for the season, though. I wanted to look stats for the Premier League. Team detailed. Average possession, we're 7th. Yellow cards, we were 2nd. Quite a few yellow cards this season. Red cards, 5. A lot of red cards this season. Pretty disappointing. Most goals, Man City with 81. We had 78. So we're up there with Man City and Burnley. Burnley up there with 79 goals. That's interesting. Expected goals, Southampton had the most, so they were disappointing. I mean, they scored 2 less than they expected. Man City just scored a buttload more than expected. Expected 67. They scored 81. We scored quite a few more than expected, too. 67 expected, 78 scored. So we were much more clinical this season. With Kai Watkins-Jones not being our starting striker, with his inconsistency gone from the team, we became a lot more clinical. Goals from corners, we had 6. Direct free kicks, we had 2. Indirect free kicks, we had 4. Passes completed, we were last, 10,000, which I'm not trying for short passing, so I'm not too worried about that. We won the Premier League with it, so obviously it's fine. Clear-cut chances, it's tied for most with Burnley. Fouls against, we were not fouled that often. That's interesting. We were fouled the most in the championship last year. We had the most dribbles made, too. So to not be fouled that much is surprising. We conceded 40 goals. A lot more than we did last season, but obviously this is a much harder competition than the championship. Liverpool were first with only 34. Leeds with only 39. Expected goals, 38. So we actually were conceded a few more than expected. So that doesn't speak well about Messalongas or our defense, really. I thought they were fine this season, but yeah, that's not great. 2 corners conceded. 2 corner goals, 1 direct free kick, 8 indirect free kicks. We conceded like 1 or 2 last season. We conceded 8 this season. That's surprising. I didn't realize that they scored that many from indirect free kicks. I don't know what the difference was last season. I mean, obviously this is a much better competition, but I don't know why it'd be that much more prevalent. Clean sheets, 13, pretty good. That's about it. Net transfer spend. Watford spent 197 million. We made $8 million. We made $8 million, and we won the Premier League. Salary per annum, we were 15th, and we won the Premier League. A third of Man City. Basically a third of Arsenal. And yet, we won the Premier League. What a season. What an improbable, fantastic season. In terms of players, Malheiros led all players in yellow cards. Albarracin led all players in red cards. That's not great, considering he was injured for quite a bit of the season, too. Distance covered per 90. Everton, that's interesting to see. Average rating, Vucinic, actually, from Arsenal, had the best average rating in the league. Vidovic is up there too, along with Zigrovic. Those are our two standout performers, obviously. Vidovic and Zigrovic. Fantastic. Goals, John Gibson, Kaltoft with 21, and Vidovic with 18. And Vidovic only made 18 starts. Kaltoft made 26. So a goal a game from Vidovic. If he played as many as John Gibson did, he probably would have scored more. He has less minutes per goal. He probably leads the Premier League in minutes per goal. We can actually expected goals. Let's see that first. Kaltoft 15, and he scored 21. That's pretty dang good. Wow, Vidovic had less than 10 expected goals, and he scored 18. He's pretty dang good. Slowest per average minutes per goal. Kaltoft was third. Yeah, those two were huge signings for us this season. They are the reason we won the Premier League. Those two, along with Zigrovic. Penalties, assists. Kai Watkins-Jones, our leading assister, just ahead of Zigrovic. He made it doesn't say how many. 25 appearances. So he made less appearances than Zigrovic did. He got one more assist. Salvi, though, with 21 assists. Miniconi, the second leading assister in the league. Wow. Assists per 90, Miniconi. Kai Watkins-Jones third. Olaru's up there. That's surprising to see. Key passes, Zigrovic, of course. Key passes per 90, Zigrovic, Olaru. I think he's probably our second best midfielder, even though neither of them are really great. None of the second midfielders are really great, but he's probably the best. Alexander Douglas up there for clear-cut chances created, along with Zigrovic. Dribbles, Alexander Douglas. Kaltoft is up there decently, too. I don't really care about tackles. We're not going to be on any of those. Yeah, clean sheets. 13 clean sheets for Leonidas Messalongas. That's fine. He did so much better than his first season in the Premier League before we joined. His first season in the Premier League, 45 goals conceded in 28 appearances, 6.65 average rating, 4 clean sheets. Obviously, much better this time around with us. I think we had a much better defense than they had. Obviously, we had a much better season than they had. They got relegated. We won the Premier League. So I think that's about it. That's about it for the season. Ramon's going to be leaving us. I might be looking to steal a few of these players. Vidovic is on my mind, but 58 million is a lot of money. They're going to be asking for a lot more than that, too. Kaltoft, obviously. We have to see what they're going to play in terms of what Chelsea play, what players they have, where they need help. But I'd be interested in bringing in Kaltoft. Definitely interested in bringing in Zigrovic, but valued at 64 million. Probably there are better options out there for cheaper. Celso, I'd be interested in bringing in, and he's only valued at 37.5, so that could be a reasonable signing. I think he's a very good defensive midfielder. Very good ball winner. Maybe Jamie Marshall, maybe Paulo Sousa, maybe Messalongas if I need a goalkeeper. Maybe Myrov, but he's probably going to be stupid expensive. Valued at 54 million. He didn't play well for us, but like I said, I think he's got the potential to be one of the best midfielders in the world. Maybe Halison Bruno. He's got a lot of potential. I think he's got potential to be an amazing defensive midfielder. I think he could be amazing. So, some players I might bring with me, but I think it's going to be guaranteed. I think we're going to Chelsea. I just couldn't turn down the opportunity to go to a team like Chelsea that got relegated to the Championship when we've completed everything we went out to complete. If we did not win the Premier League this season, I would not be leaving for Chelsea. I can guarantee that. The whole goal was to win the Premier League with Everton. If we didn't win it with Everton, we weren't going to leave the club. But since we've won it, we have nothing else to play for. This whole challenge was to win the Premier League, and we did it. So I don't want to end the series. I definitely want to keep this world going on because I'm really enjoying this game world that we've created 20 years in the future. I'm enjoying the players. I'm enjoying the teams that we're playing against. It's been super fun. I want to continue in it, and I think we should continue in it with Chelsea. So next episode, we will be Chelsea manager, going through the preseason, seeing where we need to improve this team, seeing if we could hold on to our players for one, because that's going to be difficult. We saw that last season with Everton. We had a lot of players that were very upset, wanting to leave. We eventually turned them around. They obviously made the right choice staying with Everton because they helped us win the Premier League. So it'll be a lot to work with, but I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. if you've made it this far, why don't you like the video, subscribe, and click the bell. Links to all my socials are also in the description. I really appreciate all your support. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.